my body's tired. I'm older, I'm sore, and I just couldn't handle that trip today. In my planning for this trip, I broke down this trail into kind of 4 sections. The first section was from the trailhead all the way to the intersection where the creek flows out of Junction Lake. And from the trailhead to there is really only about 4 kilometers. And you only gain about 100 meters of elevation. It's quite a nice trail. It's traveled a lot by horses. So there's nice deep ruts in the trail that if you've traveled in equestrian areas, you know how that works. From the parking lot, there's a trail that runs down to the river, and I'm hoping I can rock hop and get across there without getting my feet wet today. Because starting off with wet feet and not having any other crossings is going to be for a long day if that's the case. Well, that didn't work. I fell in. So I guess I'm going with wet feet. I'm glad the trail keeps going straight and doesn't go down there. I don't want to go down there. Once you get to that intersection where the creek flows out of Junction Lake, that's the second section. So the second section that I wanted to do today is a 5-kilometer trip up that creek into Junction Lake and spend some time up there at a nice glacier lake. Now, the trail up there is a lot of in and out of the trees, and then you get to a spot where basically all you have left to do is climb up and down basically the creek that runs out of there, and it is one big staircase waterfall. It's a 5-kilometer waterfall is what that creek is. Once you turn off that trail, you pretty much immediately have to cross a creek, and it's not deep. Well, at this time of the year it's not deep, and there's a trail coming out just the other side that I think heads up the rest of the way. I'm not sure how many times we'll have to cross this creek, but it's quite pretty. Hopefully a bunch. At this point, I am backtracking because I just checked my map, and the trail that runs along the larger section of creek seems to be moving right towards the falls instead of up in elevation towards the lake. So I'm looking for a little right turn here that will point me into some elevation gain. Yeah, so I just came back to that pretty creek, and I wasn't supposed to cross it. I was supposed to head up it. So I came back across, and now I'm gonna head up the valley. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect for this trail up to the lake because I couldn't find the trail on all trails or on Gaia. So I'm glad there's an actual trail. I'm glad I was wrong about that I'm not just climbing the creek. But I was right about it being a lot more work. It's not that bad, but it's definitely a hill. These are the ones that always mess me up. Because you come to these washouts and they're beautiful, but there's usually a trail that comes out on the other side so that you can see kind of where you're pointed, right? Like big ravine, trail somewhere, but I don't see the trail over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head, I saw a little trail farther back that went up the hill farther. I'm gonna head up and hope that it gets around on that little plateau there. And if not, then I went up for no reason, and if so, then I went up and don't have to come back down for a bit. So I'm here, and there's no trail, so I gotta make my way back down. Down is scarier than up. Up is scary, my legs are locked, I'm shaking, because I don't know if that does it any justice, but that's steep. Oh. So I'm gonna kind of skirt my way back over and hopefully not die. You know, I do this quite often when I'm backpacking by myself. I go a direction and I think, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it doesn't make any sense. And it costs me time and energy. But what do you do? Well, now I'm at the bottom, and there's a pretty well-worn trail, it looks like, all along kind of the dry creek bed. So I'm gonna just hike up that and see where I get. I got about 2.5 kilometers out of the 5 kilometers and had to turn around. Made a couple of bad decisions on navigation, went the wrong way, climbed up hills really steep, and I also just wasn't feeling it. My body's tired. I'm older, I'm sore, and I just couldn't handle that trip today. So I turned around, went back down, and I cut that second section in half. So I came back down the 2.5 kilometers. I never made it to the lake. Well, tired legs and tired minds. I just decided to turn back. On my way back down, just after I decided to go back down, I stepped on a wet rock, fell, busted up the nails of my fingers on some rocks, broke my microphone on my phone, busted the little lightning piece right out of it, so now the audio for the rest of this trip is going to be a little less good, and more or less just really bruised my ego. So I'm going to put the phone away until I get back to the bottom of the creek so that I can refocus and not make any more dumb mistakes. It is 1:30 and we are back at that pretty little creek that I crossed earlier in error that put me on the trail headed towards Junction Falls instead of going up towards Junction Lake. So I'm gonna hop back on this trail and head up to the falls. I got about 1.5 kilometers left, and I think I'll be okay for the night. I think my legs are a little worn out, but I'll get there, I'll have something to eat, I'll set up camp, and I think I'll just chill, get some firewood, enjoy an evening, and hopefully there's no one around, because I really want to enjoy some time by myself in the hammock. The third section of that is really only 1.5 kilometers, and it's back on that same trail that I started on, but the rest of the way to Junction Falls. I'm almost there. I can kind of hear the falls, but I've been trying to understand why I feel like I'm struggling so hard today. I thought it was because I had a late night last night and I had hockey, and that's part of it, I think. I then realized that I also had the night before a doubleheader for baseball. So I was playing ball for 4 hours or something like that. And then I also realized that the night before that, I had volleyball the first time this season. So realistically, I should have maybe not tried the lake and just took a nice easy stroll over to the waterfalls and just, you know, come in later, slept in, made it a chill night instead of trying to bite off more than I can chew, because I wasn't self-aware enough to understand that I was gonna suck. The trail didn't suck, I sucked. Once you get to Junction Falls, there's lots of campgrounds set up. There's 3 or 4 of them right around kind of the base of the falls and where that feeds out. And it's quite pretty here. It's kind of secluded. There's not a lot of people. I heard it's a pretty busy trail, but there's not a ton of people here. I think I ran into 3 different groups and they had all cleared out by 3:30. So right now it's just after 4. I've got all my wood prepped. I've got all my camp set up. I've got my fire ready. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a snack, and then I'm going to go head up the hill a little bit more, and I'm going to check out the falls. Wow. This is as high as I go. Over the falls, looking back up the valley. It's pretty. This is a pretty cool spot. Over here on this end is where that valley feeds into the waterfalls. And over here on this end is the waterfall. That leaves me with the 4th section, which is the hike out. I specifically planned this trip so that my hike out would be quick and easy, not knowing that I would be as sore as I am, because this trail shouldn't have beat me the way it did. But I really do need to get back to Calgary soon and get to a meeting tomorrow afternoon. So I made sure to plan the way out, which is basically the same way I came in, just without the side trek to the lake that I never made it to. So all downhill, same trail I came in on, get to the car hopefully around 11 or noon and head home from there. I have a list of things that I do before I even leave the house in preparation for a hike or a backpacking trip. And those things make the experience on trail way more enjoyable. And I didn't do those things on this trip. So if you're interested to see what those things are that could have helped me make this a little more enjoyable than it was, check out the link, check out the list, and let me know your thoughts.